Anymore. Now it's all fucking. We're done. They're done making new stuff, right? Hawk2 would still be like the number one meme if it wasn't for the fact that she got fucking in trouble for that dumb bullshit fucking pump and dump. Because
she's still in trouble for that. They haven't let that go.
I mean, not really. She's not really in trouble. She's just not around.
So she's like culturally canceled because of it.
No, I mean she just chose to disappear. Is like the thing. Seems like she's self-imposed.
I see. So she doesn't have the podcast. She doesn't have the podcast anymore.
Yeah, she's not doing anything. The last thing that she did was the thing that was like semi even questionable if it was actually her, where it was like they were doing some kind of like fucking space that was like, oh, we're gonna explain to everybody about like don't kill yourself. Hawk to a coin will come back. Even if you lost all your money, it's fine. And she just showed up for like a few seconds and then was just like, I am very tired, y'all. I am going to bed. And then people are like, I think that might have been like an AI voice. That might not have even been the real person or whatever. And then she just didn't come back around anymore.
Hawk to a girl's got like an army of lookalike. Like Saddam, like the Saddam Hussein. What's the word I'm looking for? Stand-in, decoy. Decoy is the word I'm looking for.
Doppelgangers.
I saw a picture the other day of Saddam Hussein on a speedboat with like 5 of his lookalikes. It was kind of funny. They're
That's
just
pretty beast.
throwing out with the shirts off.
Yeah. Just hanging out with a bunch of homies who look exactly like you, and it's their job to get shot instead of you.
Nothing insane about that.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool and normal and good. We all like to live like that if we could, but not all of us have the swag like fucking Saddam Hussein. Anyway, well, I guess we should get this damn show on the road, huh?
Yeah, I'm all... Wait, hang on. Yes, I'm all set up, okay. And 1, 2, 3. Where? There we go. Okay, I'm set. Truly ready. Ready to go.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that, in fact, does want more Luigis. Every day until healthcare is nationalized and there's unequivocal universal coverage. These are modest demands in the face of the perpetual mass murder and immiseration carried out by insurance and pharmaceutical corporate entities. It is 11:45 a.m. Korea Standard Time. Saturday, January 18th, year of our Lord 2025. You are currently listening to the previously transmitted solar plexus rumblings of me, Joshua. Nomen mutatio, that's Latin for name change, y'all. and beaming to us all the way from the DEIJOICEI lesbianic epicenter of America's least safe wildfire zone is Tim Kuma Abedin / Jabba the Hutt is Brat Buckner. How's life in the City of Angels? Unable to wield a fire hose. Wings and halos burnt to a crisp. How's all that very real stuff treating you?
It's fantastic. It's always great to be back on the only podcast that's asked the question, sure, a ceasefire in Gaza would be nice, but can we ceasefire here in Los Angeles first? Come on, folks. You know? Sure, I mean, it's been going on for over a year there, but we got to bring it, America first. Isn't that the
America,
the meme?
America first.
Isn't that the meme? Anyways, doing good,
Isn't that the meme? I like the idea of like any just referring to all sort of political movements and ideologies as just memes from now on.
Yep, that's where we're at now.
This Democratic meme party.
That's what it is.
At it again, memeing it up. Well, I guess up top, we've lost a legend, folks. Mr. David Lynch has passed into that great big fish in the sky, I guess.
Pretty good.
I'm trying to reference his transcendental meditation book, which I'm now forgetting the name of, something about catching the big fish. That's what it was. Yeah, big old Lynch head over here. So, I mean, it wasn't a shock or anything. He's 78 years old, but still, sad to see a good one go. Especially somebody that had a pretty big impact on my life personally through his beautiful artworks. I think one of the best days of my life ever was this day that I'd like planned out for months in advance when I was like, must have been in my early 20s. This was like 2007. Yeah. When Inland Empire came out, and I was living in Milwaukee at the time, and the art museum there was having a big Francis Bacon, what do you call that? Exhibit. That's the word.
Sure, yeah.
The twisted paintings of Francis Bacon, who I guess was a big influence on David Lynch, who was like a painter first and foremost. So it was very fun to make a whole day of, let's go see the Francis Bacon paintings, me and some friends, and in Milwaukee, and then drive down to Chicago to see the man himself, Mr. David Lynch, present Inland Empire at the Music Box Theater in Chicago. It was a very wonderful day. I believe I read the fantastic essay, which is going to be a general recommendation of mine. I'll just get it out of the way now, called David Lynch Keeps His Head by David Foster Wallace. I think I read that for the first time like on the car ride from Milwaukee to Chicago. So it was a very Lynch-filled day, and I remember it fondly. And yeah, the first thing I ever saw by David Lynch too was I had a weird kind of an unusual introduction to him. I saw the Twin Peaks prequel movie Fire Walk with Me, and I was like 12 and I had no idea who David Lynch was or what Twin Peaks was. Somehow that it passed me by. I mean, I guess I was like a little kid when it aired, but it fucking blew my mind in a way that like very few things have, like before or since. If you've seen the movie, you can probably just kind of like piece it together. 12-year-old kid doesn't know what he's getting into, watches Fire Walk with Me. It was a mind blower, and yeah, led me on a lifelong appreciation for David Lynch. So, best mushroom experience I ever had in my life was watching Mulholland Drive in the movie theater on a low dose, but enough.
Okay.
Enough to make me feel like I was watching this movie for like a week, and but I didn't get scared once. And I usually have bad trips, but I didn't somehow while watching this very fucked up, terrifying in a lot of ways movie. It was still just sort of like sitting in a warm bath, just loving every second of it. So some Lynch memories there. I know you're not a big movie guy, but what if anything do you have to say about our dearly departed?
I mean, I've seen some of his stuff. He's definitely pretty cool. Seemed like an interesting dude. I saw someone make a tweet that was like, he survived by his son. Oh God, now I can't remember the football player's name. Marshy, like beast mode Lynch. Marshall.
Oh, okay, sure.
Which I thought was funny, but like, I don't think I was like, damn, like you can't just make the same joke. But I had like thought like it'd be a funnier bit if it's like Brother Lynch Hung was his son. But either way, yeah, no, I mean I've seen some of his stuff. I didn't watch like Twin Peaks or any of that. I've seen Mulholland Drive, obviously. I've seen Eraserhead. I mean, obviously, I like his movies. My younger sibling is a much bigger fan of all of his work than I am. But yeah, I've seen Inland Empire. I think I saw the Elephant Man movie. But I was gonna save it for general recommendation. I think the thing of his that I like the most, and I'll just just leave it at that and save it for maybe we can both do just our general recs. Will just be Lynch stuff then.
Yeah, cool. I'm on pins and needles waiting to find out the answer. Stay tuned, folks. Don't touch that dial. Don't skip ahead. No.
It won't be as good, you know?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, also his, like, so I guess it's kind of weird how this works, but, like, now that he's gone, like, I'm probably going to, like, scour and go back to a bunch of things that I kind of saw in passing that I just never got around to. Like, he's put out lots of, like, music collaborations with different people, and, like, he does make his own music that is bits of it that I've heard is actually really good, like better than you might imagine. I mean, I guess he's not, a professional musician or whatever, but
sure.
Yeah, gonna try to dig into all the little side projects he did here and there, and he did a lot of like weird little things. I remember he used to, on his website back in the day, he used to do like a weather report, I think like every day. Oh. And but he lives in LA, so it was like always just like, it's sunny again. Yeah, it would just be very. That's pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, R.I.P. to Real One and all that. But enough with all the fun eulogizing. Yeah.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes.
Get to the real shit. This is the high happy point is mourning someone's death. So into the rest we go. So yeah, big deal this week, obviously, I suppose, is this ceasefire business, which has been a bit of a roller coaster.
I ain't afraid of no roller coaster.
It's a bit of a misnomer as well.
Yeah, firing has yet to cease. I mean, there's been so many fucking murders just within the time that they started talking about this, I think on like Wednesday, like, okay, it's imminent, it's going to happen. And then it was like, Israel's fucking around, just basically buying like any amount of time that they could to just kill as many more people as possible, which is exactly what they did. So already off to a fucking great start with the ceasefire. But it is now, as of very recently, signed into existence. But go ahead. Sorry, I think I stepped over you there.
No. It's like I heard, someone. I don't know if it was Netanyahu or someone else, but basically just saying like, yeah, I mean, sure, it's a ceasefire, but that doesn't mean that we won't, fire. Basically saying we will continue to try to destroy Hamas because they can't be allowed to exist, and we can't do this with them around. So, and it's like, okay, so you already just justify everything that you've done killing civilians as like part of Hamas. So how is that any different than this now? That you're saying, well, we're still going to kill Hamas. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty good. Like I said, misnomer there, because it's basically, the ceasefire is can you guys stop shooting at us the little bit that you are while we continue to shoot at you?
That's what they've been trying. That's what they've been calling negotiating this entire time. Is every time that's what it is. It's well, if we can't just go into Gaza and blow shit up, I mean, what kind of ceasefire deal is that for us? I mean, it's insane. Right. It's like talking to a genuine psychopath.
I mean, that's what Israel is. As a country, it's a psychopath. It's a psychopathic country. Like,
it is a brain broke ass nation for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Or nation in scare quotes isn't real, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Whole paycheck, as I call it. But yeah, I mean, like it's been kind of. Like I said, sort of roller coaster-esque in a way, and a lot of the narrative, of course, from our like solipsistic, selfish American point of view is like, well, who's going to get the real credit, Trump or Biden? And that's kind of what a lot of people are squabbling about online, I guess. And from what I understand, like kind of neither of them really deserve any credit. Biden especially doesn't, in a way. It seems that Trump's like envoy of like whatever people that are not even in power yet did have some significant, like at least like pressure, like their role in just sort of like pressuring Israel to accept. But you know, the thing wasn't like negotiated by Trump's people. Like that's it's a big misunderstanding of how this shit works. It's like, you know, the people negotiating are whatever officials in Qatar, I believe. But yeah, it's just like, if you're just like looking at the surface level of the headlines at first, like earlier in the week as I was, it was just kind of like, holy shit, is Donald Trump gonna fucking get this done before he even enters office? And then I had to kind of like go back to the thing that I mentioned last week about, which I characterized as like Trump was just like threatening Palestine. But it seems now in retrospect that he was threatening Palestine, but he was also threatening Israel, sort of by implication, when he said like all hell will break loose in the Middle East if he didn't even say the ceasefire. He's like, if the hostages aren't returned by January 20th, you know, he put a timestamp on it. And but apparently what he meant was like gonna make deals. That's what I do. I'm Donnie Deals. And
yeah,
just what a like. Okay, get this shit out of the way. Even though it's probably totally unnecessary on this podcast, but nobody here is praising Trump for this. But a ceasefire deal has been reached, and
you gotta hand it to him.
It seems to have nothing to do with Joe Biden, who was, you know, tirelessly working on this thing this whole time, right? There was even a thing, I might not be able to pull it up now. There's just too many damn links all over the place here, but it was basically, there was some like technical clause or whatever in like whatever Biden was saying about the ceasefire, where it was like, he like both wants the credit and doesn't want the credit. He's basically saying like,
nice.
I don't accept the responsibility for like basically anything that happens because of this, but yeah, we got that ceasefire done because as we'll get to in a little bit down the road here, and he gave his big stupid fucking farewell address, where he just like jacked himself off for 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Which is impressive. He can still go that long. But yeah, he did. It was the classic. I loosened the cap for you. When you're at Biden's mental acuity, when you're at his level, like any kind of masturbation is the stranger, because you have no fucking clue what's going on. You know, you think he has fucking yeah. I mean, the stranger could even be having sex with his own wife, basically. Like,
whose dick is this?
Who put their dick in my ass? Yeah. He has no fucking clue what's going on.
Also, just his extremities are numb from
from all the cocaine that he's been doing with his son, his crackhead son. Right. You know him and Hunter.
I can't feel my face.
Smoking moon rocks together. Yeah.
I love the idea of Biden just saying like Lil Wayne style, "Can't feel my face." sliding back.
Real
on the couch.
G's move in silence, Jack. Like lasagna. Yeah,
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hombres en crecimiento. Yo soy Luis Mercado y este podcast es un espacio de confianza para todos aquellos hombres que quieren aprender a superar sus inseguridades, pero no saben ni por dónde empezar.
En Hombres en Crecimiento descubrirás que el crecimiento personal no es cuestión de sacrificio y sufrimiento.
En este podcast aprenderás a simplificar tu vida, ordenar tu mente y, más importante, aprender a superar tus inseguridades.
this is a good one though, because like you said, he's like trying to take credit. It's like president to president, Trump to Biden, Biden to Trump, like pulling out of the Middle East. You know, the war on terror. Trump put it together. Biden did it, right? And then you go the other way here. It's Biden put together the ceasefire, and Trump. It's going to happen under Trump. Trump's going to be the one who does it, right? Both of which are going to kill thousands, possibly even more, and cost America millions. So, that's how you judge them. Which president set the thing up for the other one that killed more people and cost America more money? Huh? That's the trade-off.
Yeah, and another disgusting display to be witnessed in the online realm is just all of these fucking liberals who are like, riding with Biden. Do you condemn Hamas? Israel has the right to defend itself.
Right.
Jackasses who are now like, wow, what a genius of foreign relations. He was just holding out for the right moment. Like, I mean, I don't know how you can like justify this shit in your mind without. I mean, I was gonna say without driving yourself in, but they are schizophrenic. These fucking people.
This is 5-dimensional chess by Biden now. That the thing that all of the people wanted him to do and probably could have like swung the election the other way. He waited to do it until Trump is already fucking president. I mean, come on, tell me that's not 5D chess.
I don't know how I landed on 12D chess as my go-to with that phrase, but it's just I realized that I think I thought that it was like a normal thing people said, and I'm realizing more and more that I think it's just a me thing is to go to 12.
Sure.
Anyway,
that's fine. Fuck 12, by the way. But yeah, I mean, what if Biden do you think if Biden had like actually pushed for the ceasefire in Gaza, like it would have made a difference? Do you think that Kamala or him could have won if they had just fucking announced it,
no, like
7 months ago or something?
That's the thing is like Joe Biden is a genuine, full-on, true believer in the cause of Zionism. I mean, it should be obvious, but it's not a put on. Like, he really believes. You just go back and like watch his old speeches and shit. The classic one: if Israel didn't exist, we'd have to invent it and all that stuff.
I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent.
But the great irony or whatever is that he and the Democrats in general were so hated by Netanyahu, and even more so probably by, the supposed even further right people like Ben Gvir and what's his name, Smotrich, those fucking absolute psychopath lunatics who they're so insane about this shit right now. Those two and their whole like kind of Kahanist, terror squad, Jewish supremacy movement. Their political party is literally called. I think it's called the Jewish Power Party. Like.
That's pretty
not
good.
even a dog whistle. That's just a big old fucking whistle right in your face. It's just like, we're the Nazis now. Get it?
Yeah.
Jewish power. Ziegheil. I mean, oops, not Ziegheil.
No.
Whatever. We're changing it.
Why
We're
not?
changing it up. We do two hands, so it's Jewish now. But yeah, so they're so pissed about this. Like, Ben Gvir is threatened to leave the government. Oh no, we'll miss you so much. If the ceasefire passes, as far as I know, he hasn't followed through with that promise yet, although it's only like officially, I think, just been signed like hours ago. But they're putting out like memes and shit of Trump dressed up like a fucking Qassam Brigade soldier. They're like, Trump is Hamas. They've like turned on him so quickly. They were so excited. They were like, Trump's gonna let us run roughshod even more. So it's like, I mean, I don't even know how much more you could get than what you were getting from Biden. There was no it's so insane to read these people as like, you know, Biden loves Hamas. Biden's holding us back from our true genocidal potential and all this shit. And it's like, he's giving you every fucking thing you want and more without you even having to ask. He's just like, oh, yeah, here's an extra couple billion, Jack. I found it in my back pocket here. I love you guys. And they hate him so much. It's just such an abusive relationship. Poor Joe and his stranger sessions. And yeah, there's so much Zionist reaction like immediately against Trump now. And kind of just against like America in general. And it's like, do these motherfuckers really not understand how dependent they are on the United States? I mean, they have to, right? Like this like Ben Gvir, I'm going to quit shit. It just has to be all kind of performative. But again, psychopath. So who knows? Yeah. So this all just goes to show once and for all to anyone who ever could have doubted it, I think, that Biden could have done this on October 8th. He didn't want to, obviously. He's a true believer.
Who can blame him?
Trump is not a true believer. Trump is not a good guy. Trump is not going to really... I mean, let's just get this out of the way. This thing is probably not going to really stop much of anything. Ceasefires have pretty much never really stopped Israel from mowing the lawn, as they call it. You know,
right?
You got to go trim some off the top in Gaza every couple weeks. Got to kill some kids and some civilians. But where I feel really weird and sort of like, I don't even know if torn is the right word, but let's just go with torn, is like, I see the footage of Palestinians like overjoyed and like feeling so much relief at the prospect of, you know, things being slightly less apocalyptically horrible for them. So I feel almost kind of like a kind of form of like, whatever, first world privilege, just the privilege of the fact that I'm not in Gaza, right? So it's like I'm sitting here on the sidelines, you know, playing fucking geopolitical genius, whatever, like playing, yeah, oh man, this is bullshit. I could see through the bullshit. And this has been a lot of what I've been like, I don't know, just like kind of talking about and going, whatever, working through with other people online or whatever, is like, yeah, like this is all probably going to like amount to nothing, unfortunately. But like when I say that, I feel almost like guilty while like simultaneously picturing like, man, I read this story. It was like a little boy who was like so young that he didn't even know his parents' names, but he knew what the word ceasefire was and what it meant. And he was like didn't want to go to bed because he said he wanted to stay up and watch the ceasefire. I mean, it's just like shit like that it's like, is this making any sense? Like I feel like I'm shitting all over their like happiness, and like, even if, and obviously I'm not like talking to them directly, but like, I don't know. It just puts the whole fucking situation into like I guess a real bummer of stark relief of just like, this was the thing like any decent person on earth has been like hoping for at the bare minimum, is a ceasefire. And like now that it's happened, it's just like, well, it's probably bullshit and it's going to be, you know, disregarded or completely abandoned after the phase 1 of, you know, 6 weeks, which is, you know, it's being laid out in phases, which is also bullshit, by the way. You know, ceasefires can be administered immediately. This one technically doesn't go into effect until the day before the inauguration, which is hilariously selfish timing, just like so obvious what's going on there. And so it pointed out that like when Obama first came into office, they did the same exact thing because there was another operation happening in Gaza, one not nearly as long as this current one, but still no fun for anybody, lawn mowing time. But again, to show how easily a U.S. president can like unilaterally make Israelis stop doing this shit, at least temporarily, Obama was like, hey, you're not going to ruin my special day. And they fucking put a ceasefire into effect on January 19th, the same thing, 2009. It was literally like, this will overshadow like my historic achievement as America's first Netflix executive.
I get where you're coming from, kind of, but like the thing is,
it's hard for me to explain. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The thing of it is that like I get it. It's like, are you like sitting in an ivory tower, like looking down on something and poo-pooing it? But like, I don't think it's being cynical because we already talked about it. Like, and it's pretty blatantly open. It's not a ceasefire. They are intentionally covering what they are negotiating is basically just like a Gazan surrender. They're not negotiating a true ceasefire. The fact that, like you said, Israel demands to continue to have the carve out where that they can attack Hamas targets. They've already proven over and over again that they're willing to call anything a Hamas target. So that right. is absolutely meaningless. What they are asking for is a one-sided ceasefire. What they're asking for is, we want Hamas to stop because, whatever, you can argue that like they started it, whatever. But that the other side will not. They don't want to be held to any actual terms. So basically it is a negotiation to exchange what, prisoners and fucking, remains that you have left of hostages for you to stop shooting us, surrender, and we'll go back to the shitty status quo, which was already like genocide. Like, that's the tough part about it, because what they're asking for, even if you do take them at face value and say, like, somehow that it is a ceasefire, they are requesting a return to normalcy in the biggest fucking scare quotes in the world, because what they're asking for is a return to what is still genocide, just slightly less active. Right? So that's why it's not, like, I don't think it's, like, cynical or, oh, you've got, like, fucking first world privilege to look at it that way, because it's a fucking joke. It's like, there is nothing that's truly acceptable other than like the dissolution of the Israeli state. And anything short of that is just continuing again to status quo, which is still fucking genocide. So yeah, I don't think that it's bad of you or weird of you to see it that way or to not like look at this as like a positive, because it's not a positive. There is no positive at this point, short of, again, the idea that we just wipe Israel off the map. And that's just not going to happen. That's especially not going to happen under Trump, Yeah.
Since all of this stuff is like kind of coming out like as we're speaking right now in a way, I didn't like actually, I have it pulled up now, but I didn't read the actual terms. I'm kind of like skimming it right now, but like, no, you're right. And like, I ultimately know that. I think what it is just like, it's just depressing me to see these people celebrating, because I want them to be able to really celebrate, and they are really celebrating. But it's like, and they're not stupid. They've been through this so many times. But sure. It's kind of like, I don't want to imply that like I think they're rubes, right? That's what it really comes down to, because that's what some people are saying about people who are feeling optimistic about this, people who are not living in Gaza, just, sideline people like myself who are like, this is actually a win for the resistance somehow. And like, I sort of kind of see their technical roundabout point, but like ultimately, I don't think it's really the case either. It is true that Israel has not reached their stated objectives of eliminating Hamas, obviously, because it's just impossible. And like I think even the biggest fucking Nazis of them all are like pointing that out. But then they use that as their reasoning for why it's okay to just kill all the kids, because they grow up and become Arabs. Remember that
yes.
lady?
Yeah.
So yeah, they like the numbers of Hamas militants have not diminished. They've been replaced like at the same rate, at least, that they've been like, diminished or whatever. I mean, if there is any silver lining, and it hasn't happened yet, so we'll see. A lot of this is kind of a we'll see to some degree, but you're also right that like we can pretty much kind of predict how this is going to go down. But I guess I really am kind of just like sort of faith-based irrationally, like just hoping against hope for the best somehow to just happen. Like I'm like, well, Trump's really unpredictable, so maybe something good will happen by accident. But I mean, ultimately, yes. If you press me on what I really think, no, I don't think anything particularly great is going to come out of this. But
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well, and you saying that, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's tough. Any kind of situation like this, if there's any kind of silver lining, it's tough to think that it'll last because the Israelis will steal it.
Oh, right. I didn't even say my point. The silver lining would be that I believe 1,000 quote unquote detainees, i.e. hostages, from the torture rape dungeons of Israel will be released.
Right.
But that's also 1,000 out of about 10,000 at least.
It's harm reduction, folks.
And I think, it's 1,000 Gazan detainees that were detained since October 8th, and then 110 Palestinian, quote, prisoners with life sentences. Of course, it's an apartheid state, and Palestinians go through a different legal process, if any, and people are just detained indefinitely for made-up crimes.
Right.
So wait, was I saying silver lining? Jesus.
Right, like I said.
I'm like 1,000 people are getting freed, and then just like every fucking element about that's shitty.
Sure, but it's good for those 1,000 people, right? Like I said, it's a joke. It's harm reduction, but I mean, technically it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not enough.
I guess we've got to grab onto whatever scraps we can get in these situations, I guess. I don't know.
And that's it. Like you said, like, you don't shit on the people for celebrating it because they're not stupid enough to not know. I mean, fuck, they've lived it. You know what I mean? As much as
they might be getting some family members back out of those 1,000 people
they know, whatever. Yeah.
Also, it's just like literally like maybe some breathing room for a fucking minute.
Right. Right.
Which is also even more depressing, though, when you think about it, because then it's like, yeah, hey, we'll stop wailing on you for a second, and then like come back tenfold or whatever. Also, I'd have to look into this, but I think that like part of the sort of Donnie Deals element of it all was that essentially they had to like bribe Netanyahu into accepting this through basically allowing them to like take even more territory in the West Bank. Don't quote me on that.
Sure.
I feel like I absorbed that through internet somewhere recently. So, yeah. But then I'll just come back to my favorite thing, shitting on Joe Biden. How much does this still just make him look like the biggest fucking monster? Like I don't know, like, of course Trump is doing this for the wrong reasons. He's kind of doing the right thing for definitely the wrong reasons. But it's still, how low is the bar that makes Joe Biden makes Trump look relatively better? And that's the thing, is what were people saying during the fucking run up to the election? About, God, genocide is my red line. I'm not voting for these fuckers. Yeah, well, Trump is obviously going to be 10 times worse. And it's like, he hasn't even taken office yet, and he's done the thing that Democrats have been lying about, pretending to want to do this last 15 months or whatever.
Sure. I mean,
I mean, again, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
nothing. It's fake.
It's all.
Like,
it's all theater, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's still
something.
Theater is still real, if that makes sense. Like it's real as theater. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's okay. I think I've heard this said somewhere or something. And if I haven't, or if I have, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna claim it as my own like novel thought in the moment here, which is that like the difference is that Trump will do this. That placates not even necessarily his base, but just placates doing the right thing, even though if you fucking scratch the surface even a millimeter deep, it's complete and utter bullshit. But what the Democrats do is they condescend to their base and to the people who should be theoretically voting for them, or even like not even their base, but just fucking in general, people that would possibly vote for them as, again, like the harm reduction party. They condescend to them in like a backwards way where they go like, well, we're not going to treat you like you're so stupid to do this fake thing because we all know that it's fake. So we're not even going to do it.
Sophisticated with your media consumption, you good Dems, Yeah.
So you'll know that this is bullshit. So we're not even going to do it, you know, but it's like condescending to you because it's like, well, why don't you do the thing that you know that we actually want? Well, you don't deserve that. And because you don't deserve what you actually want, and again, like you said, you're too sophisticated to fall for it if we just did the fake thing that Trump does, then what you end up getting is nothing. And that's why they fucking lose. That's why they lose and they're losers. Because what they do is they pretend like they respect you so much that they're not going to fucking condescend to you by doing the fake thing. So what they end up doing is nothing.
But even the fake thing, like we just spent some minutes talking about, does at least have a genuine material silver lining of 1,000 people being freed from torture rape dungeons.
Right.
Which... So, you know, if we're like keeping score here,
right?
That's what
Scoreboard.
Trump up by 1,000 freed prisoners.
Exactly.
So it's just pathetic though that's the bar. It's like Donald Trump is the fucking bar here, or rather Joe Biden is bar fucking down in the dirt, down into the fucking Earth's core.
Mm-hmm. But the thing that flashed to my head as we're talking about it was like the Donnie Deals of it all, and like. The fact that he can't be coached, he can't be controlled, and the thing that crossed my mind, because, you know, we've got the once in a fucking millennia fire destruction happening in the Southland, and I've heard people kind of like mention it and talk about it like, yeah, the last fucking thing we need coming off of this is the Olympics, right? And it's like kind of looming over our head, the idea that they're still gonna do it, which is fucking crazy. And the Donnie Deals of it that crossed my mind is like, I could see, even though it's like comes from the left, comes from the DSA, no Olympics, stop it, whatever. I could see Trump being the one who fucking, negotiates ending America involvement in the Olympics because of exactly like you said, he's Donnie Deal. He's going to be like, it's a bad deal, folks. We're not getting anything out of this. Why do we keep doing it? It's a loser. No one cares. It stinks. They're just, we don't get anything out of it. It was invented by the smelly Greeks. No, thank you. Why do we want to bring athletes from other countries? We like American athletes. We don't need athletes from another country coming in here and wasting our money. You know what I mean?
He's just gonna create the fucking Trump
the Trump American Olympics.
Trump Olympics.
Yeah. The Tariff Olympics. The Trump Trade War Olympics. All American athletes.
More trans-free than ever.
Yeah. Exactly. But could you imagine? Like, it feels like legitimately possible that he'll probably let the California ones happen because it's California. You guys can suck. But then he'll like do something after it where he's like, look at how bad it was, folks. We wasted so much money. It was very bad. Gavin Newsom, the loser Gavin Newsom. And America, we didn't even win that many medals. What was the point? Why did we waste so much money? Look at California. They're burning and they're focusing on this, fruity, whatever. And then he'll sign some fucking, executive order that's like no more Olympics in America forever. You know what I mean? And I will not be shocked if something like that happened because like you said, like, there's something about Trump that's just, it is what this term means, and it sucks because like right-wing chuds have just completely co-opted it in a way that's fucking annoying, and they just, when they say it, like, you could tell a lot of times all they mean is racist, but it's like incredibly based. It is like what that term is actually supposed to mean, which is just like base level understanding of being like, what is good for me, what is bad for me, and making the choice about just what's good for me, and being like, fuck this is a waste. This fucking sucks and it doesn't help anybody. Get rid of it.
Oh, well, we got that to look forward to, folks. And so the ceasefire is
only the tip of the iceberg.
I was almost going to say paper tiger. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
A fake ass thing.
Yeah, you've been in an Asiatic country for too long. You're thinking
yeah, that's my insectile Chinese brain.
Mm-hmm.
We got some China of it all to talk about in a second here, but
at what cost?
Yeah, I was imagining Trump saying like, China has been eating our lunch at the Olympics every year, folks. We're gonna put an end to it by just dropping out.
Yeah.
They can't beat us if we're not in it.
Yes.
Who's got more gold medals now? He just like self awards America, the only country in the Olympics, like all the gold medals.
No. We could save the money and just buy all the
gold medals. Whatever number of gold medals China has, he just like quadruples it.
Yeah.
Just to have a little side by side infographic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
we got that to look forward to, the America Olympics.
Yeah. Olympics.
By extension, I think we'd have to have the Trump Special Olympics too, right? I mean, I imagine that somehow would get wildly inappropriate and weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah. It'd be fun though. I'd be into it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be watching that.
The ratings are going to go through the roof for Trump Special Olympics, folks. We're going to help all those little beep win all the gold medals. I mean, I guess that's ceasefire, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. And California, fire, cease.
Yeah. E2, cease.
I'm sure that the ceasefire discourse will continue as well. But here's a funny little bit on that. Everyone's favorite, why the fuck is this bitch famous? Brianna Wu, honorary Asian.
Yeah.
Brianna Wu.
She gives an even worse name to the Woo girl.
What? I don't know.
Are you not familiar with the concept of a Woo girl?
Oh, got it. Yeah. I guess I hadn't heard it just phrased quite like that. Got it. Yes. Brianna Woo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jerry. I watched the Jerry Springer documentary the other day on Netflix. Really took me back to a simpler.
Why has he not been on the Adam Friedland show? Right? He seems like a perfect guest. Anyways,
he's very, very much dead.
Oh, fuck. Okay, sorry. I didn't. My bad.
No, I forgot he died. He would be that's a really good call. You should just DM them with that anyway.
I'm gonna DM and say, hey, do it.
Why haven't you had Jerry Springer on yet? Get him on ASAP.
Yeah.
Have him debate Destiny.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
A 3-way debate.
Squelly.
Hawk to a 4-way debate. Finkelstein, Hawk to a girl, Jerry Springer's corpse, and Destiny. Yeah. And Adam Friedland.
He died like a year and a half.
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
It's just moderating. A year and a half ago, so you can't blame me for not knowing. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not blaming you, man. Chill. But Brianna Wu said on Twitter, Jesus, I almost can't even say this out loud. It's so stupid.
Yeah, that's because it has the N-word in it.
Yeah.
Brianna Wu said the N-word. She put it on a tweet, big bold letters. No A. It's the hardest of ours.
She weighed in on the ceasefire discourse by just posting the N-word 1,000 times.
Yep. She said it was okay because maybe she's Jewish and she was calling Netanyahu it. So it's okay.
What's up, my Netanyahu?
Yeah.
That's another good one.
Now that's a ne'er-do-well.
In place of ne'er-do-well, just calling them Netanyahus. I mean, that's a huge. Yeah. That would be in the insulting way, not the cool, hey, my friend way.
Right.
But anyhow, all right. She said regarding the ceasefire deal as it was approaching, I don't feel like it's my role to instruct Israel on taking this deal or not. That's the tweet.
Who the fuck asked, bitch? No one fucking asked, bitch. What? Yeah, okay, cool. It's not your role to instruct. Why are you fucking informing us?
As if people have been just Ben-Gvir
clamoring
and
to hear.
Smotrich themselves are like waiting on pins and needles for her permission to carry out their Kahanist bloodletting.
Yeah. We gotta hear what the main character of fucking Gamergate has to say about this. Hold on, folks.
Oh, God. Imagine your whole life is your whole sort of sense of being known by anyone is wrapped up in I was the person at this epicenter of Gamergate, the very real cultural phenomenon that really mattered, that everyone really cared about. And it totally meant anything.
The saddest part about it is that she's not.
She's not even the
actually
main.
the center of it. She's fucking stealing valor for being the main person from a fake thing that no one actually... That fucking the only reason why anybody knows about it is because media people love to talk about themselves. So it was drama that happened within media circles. The fucking video game media, which is the lamest kind of media you can ever be a fucking part of.
Yikes.
Can you imagine something fucking... I can fucking say it. Could you imagine anything fucking more queer than fucking video game media? And of course they don't shut the fuck up about it. So then that's the only reason why anybody knows it exists. And Brianna Wu was not at the fucking center of it. She was like a bystander at fucking best. And she's part of like the people who mythologized it to pretend like it fucking mattered. You saw that. We watched that documentary where she had to fucking bring it back and be like,
right.
yeah, actually Occupy Wall Street was actually, and Trump and all of it was actually all about Gamergate. Actually, that was why all that fucking happened.
Oh, God, we cough laughing. All right.
Yeah.
We made it, folks, to the cough laugh.
We got it. We got there.
That one's staying in.
You're still recovering. You're still convalescing. Yeah.
For all you misophonia heads out there, that's for you.
Oh, miso.
I was
thinking it?
unconsciously teeing you up, I think, was what happened there. No, but as always, I was just kind of cribbing a Doughboys riff is not the right word. Whatever motif,
running joke, running gag.
Yeah, just how they eat food on the show and like. Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna do fucking Doughboys bits, but it is funny the way they make fun of their fans. They have this one particular voice that's like this timid, annoying Reddit person, basically. Misophonia is a real thing, though, boys. It's very insensitive for you to say misophonia doesn't exist. All right. Brianna Wu remains retarded, deeply unself-aware. Was my note for that. What else? Did I mention the meme about Trump dressed up as Hamas? Yes, I did. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's still pretty good though.
Ben-Gvir's so mad. Maybe that's one of the only real silver linings too. Is maybe he'll just fucking go and off himself because he just can't handle only be able to do diet genocide for 6 weeks. It's just too much for him to deal with.
I think the coolest thing that could happen is if Ben-Gvir was forced to be in the same room and talk to Brianna Wu. That would be a humiliation that he truly deserves.
He'd be like, "Oh shit, you're one of the bad ones."
Yeah.
You're not even like
fuck. You're the.
It's easy to write off the self-hating ones, like Max Blumenthal, whatever. But you're just one of the bad ones who's with it, who loves Israel.
Right.
Yeah, I also sort of imagine Ben-Gvir is not down with the trans rights cause either. I assume, but. Well, speaking of Max Blumenthal,
I don't know what that would have to do with anything.
Huh?
I said I don't know what that would have to do with anything.
Is Brianna Wu not a trans woman? Is that not
as far as she's concerned?
Is that a myth? I thought it was settled.
Not as far as she is concerned.
But isn't she just lying? I thought that was like the whole thing. Is she's like absurdly lying about?
Oh, you have to go with self-ID. That's the law. So she's never outright said that she's trans. So as far as I'm concerned, she's a natally born woman.
All right.
So I can treat her just as badly as I would treat any natally. Well, I don't have to respect her even slightly.
Bitch. Shut up.
Yeah, because she's a dumb woman who is stupid, and I do not respect her. Now, if she was born a man, then yeah, okay, hats off to you. Good grift. I respect it. But no. She is a stupid bitch.
I mean, I'd like to think that I'm enlightened enough to call a trans woman a stupid bitch too, but whatever.
That's fair.
But I did invoke the name Max Blumenthal, maybe because it's like the next thing on the notes here. Now, you know what? Let's try to add up as many silver linings to this ceasefire business as possible. I'd count this as one of them. Max Blumenthal getting some good shots in directly at Anthony Blinken, Mr. Hoochie Coochie Mama, whatever, himself.
A Blinken himself.
A Blinken went to go see a play, Our American Cousin or whatever.
Yeah, and then Max Blumenthal put two in the back.
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam. Put him down.
Kind of. It was a verbal Abe Blinken assassination attempt.
Oh. This is a enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation, I guess. I don't know, because I'm not a big Max Blumenthal head. I don't know if I am.
I would say I am. I actually just I tried to articulate my full thoughts on him the other day in text somewhere, and I basically reached the conclusion that he's like 95% based Blumenthal, and then there's this 5% what the fuck are you doing, man, Blumenthal, that I'm able to separate the two somehow, and I guess it's just that to me, the gray zone is like a national treasure that's not worth throwing out because Blumenthal has some unfortunately stupid shit to say about the pandemic and vaccines, and he hangs out with Jackson Hinkle and Jimmy Dore, which really sucks. It sucks because like when you see him not doing that shit, he's really on point. Like I've been watching the Gray Zone live streams, pretty much all of them the last year or so. And I'd kind of stepped away because of his, the 5%, what the fuck are you doing, Blumenthal of it all. But anyway, regardless, I think anyone would appreciate the way he calls this motherfucker out to his face as he's getting tossed out of the press pit, the briefing room, whatever. So yeah, Blinken, because like everything's winding down to an end here, I guess that's why he like addressed the press personally, which he like basically never does, or at least not in this setting. So the vampire man, Matt Miller, was like standing in the back, which also Blumenthal got some shots off on him as he was getting thrown out. It was kind of funny. He's like being dragged out. He's yelling at Anthony Blinken.
And this motherfucker.
And then he sees Matt Miller. He goes, "Oh, and you too, Matt Miller, you motherfucker." It was great. And actually, let's just watch it. And I'll probably just keep the audio in. But this is also a 2-part thing because I believe after Blumenthal got thrown out, this other like seasoned journalist, let me make sure I got his name right. I think it's Sam Husseini. Yeah. He got forcibly removed by the police. Like Blumenthal just kind of like got the classic, like ushered out by whatever, like staffers. But Matt Miller, the eternal evil one, called the cops on this Sam Husseini guy because the only way he can ever get a question in at these things is because they just like don't call on him. They won't let him fucking talk, basically. So he just like between questions will like throw out some questions, and they don't like that because he's asking real pointed questions, obviously. And so he basically got he didn't get, I don't think he got arrested, but like 4 cops like came in and just like lifted a grown man into the air like by both arms and legs. And, and he wasn't doing anything though before that. He's like, oh, now I'll start screaming what I want to scream, and he did it. But anyway, we'll hear some of that too. But and also CNN's reaction to all this. Although I think they just ignored Blumenthal, but they did react to the Sam Husseini part, and maybe we'll hear some of that too. It's all fairly brief, so let's get to it. Also, shout out all-time poster Joe Vibin on the TrueAnon subreddit for posting this multi-camera compilation of Max Blumenthal and Sam Husseini dressing down Anthony Blinken during Blinken's remark to the press. He uploads. He really dies for our sins over there at the old sub by like compiling these press briefing things, like with the evil one, Matt Miller, and so on. So yeah, shout out Mr. Joe Vibin, who I do believe at least occasionally listens to this program.
Sick. What's up, dog?
Yeah, what up? What up, vibin'?
I have even greater respect, even greater appreciation for you asking the tough questions, for you holding us to account, being on the receiving end. Sometimes that's not always the most comfortable thing, not always the most enjoyable thing, but it is the most necessary thing.
300 reporters in Gaza were on the receiving end of your bombs. Why did you keep the bombs flowing when we had a deal in May?
I'm happy to address questions.
We all knew we had a deal. Everyone in this room knows we had a deal, Tony, and you kept the bombs flowing.
I'm happy to address questions when we get a chance. Thank you.
Why did you sacrifice the rules-based order on the mantle of your commitment to Zionism? Why did you allow my friends to be massacred? Why did you allow
I'm happy to address your questions when we get to questions. Thank you.
You helped destroy our religion, Judaism, by associating
Yeah, I have a statement. Yeah, I have a statement to make. Thank you.
You waved the white flag before Netanyahu. You waved the white flag before Israeli fascism.
I look forward to taking questions when I get a chance to finish my statement. Thank you.
Your grandfather was an Israel lobbyist. Are you compromised by Israel? Why did you allow the Holocaust of our time to happen? How does it feel to have your legacy be genocide? How does it feel to have your legacy be genocide? You too, Matt. You smirk through the whole thing every day. You smirk through a genocide.
Thank you.
There he is, the wicked one, Matt Miller. Thank you. All right. I just realized this time that the person doing the sign language interpretation is signing all the shit that Max Blumenthal is screaming, which is great.
Wow.
And actually,
how do you sign like that what you're saying while being carried away by jackbooted thugs? Like, how do do they have a way to denote that?
Anyways. They just do like an act out, as comedians call it. It's like getting the fucking cane at the Apollo or whatever. Wait, what am I thinking of? Am I thinking of the right thing? The fucking talent
the
show,
Sandman,
with
Mr. Sandman with the cane. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there was that, and does this matter? Not really, but it still felt good to watch, as it did to, I believe the day before this, maybe, or really close to it. Blinken was giving a speech, a similar kind of we're winding down. Here's our great legacy of being one of the greatest war criminals in history, basically. And 3 times in a row, he was interrupted by protesters at this speech. I forget where it was. It might have been a university or something. And they got some good shots in there, too. Secretary of Genocide was a good one.
That's good, yeah.
But the funniest part was just him getting, every time, the person would get thrown out, he would just he might as well do the kind of, spike the camera, Joss Whedon, adorkable thing, go well, that happened. That's essentially his response.
Yeah, he winks at the camera. He's
he just did here. He's thank you. And as he's getting yelled at, called the genocider of our time, he's I respect your opinions. Now please listen to mine. It's just this fucking robot, man. God damn. I really hate this fucking guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
He's kind of I feel like he's taken up the mantle of Kissinger or something. I mean, it's not all these fucking same people in the previous administrations in, the 21st century and whatever. I mean, all these people are fucking war criminals all the way down, but something about the visibility and the severity of this particular genocide, I hope this shit fucking just really follows him to his grave. And that's another thing I want to kind of feel saying is I really hope people don't let this shit just sort of recede into the background. I hope people keep having vigils outside this asshole's house, which they've been doing for, a year plus or something now. Not vigils, but you know what I mean? They're basically protesting in front of his house. And yeah, he's gonna get some cushy fucking job after this. I'm sure he's a rich motherfucker. His life is gonna be essentially okay, but people should still make it as inconvenient as possible. He should fear going out in public, at least for the sake of being just harassed and reminded that he is the Secretary of Genocide and so on. And not just him, of course, Biden, for as long as Biden has left on this earth. All these fucking monsters. Just it's like kind of the least we could do aside from nothing is just make them a little uncomfortable. That's such a low bar. I know it's kind of depressing to even say it out loud, but goddamn. I don't know if I even need to play the Sam Husseini thing. I mean, it's good. There's a link in the show notes, which are in the episode description. The Google document. So if you're curious, I mean, obviously you could just probably Google whatever, Bing, search engineify if you want to see it. I do want to play the CNN reaction though, because it's so ridiculous and condescending, and it's also pretty short and sweet. So let me find that here. Shit, did I not put it on here? Well, maybe I'll just go ahead and insert it after the fact. That's what she said. Haha. I'm bringing That's What She Said back. Bringing it back.
That's of course.
But basically what they say are like, they just pretend they don't even know who these people are. Like Sam Husseini is like a respected, like I said, seasoned journalist. They fucking know well who Max Blumenthal is as well. Like they were legitimate like members of the press at this place, but they characterize it like they're these crafty activists. They won't even call them journalists; they're just calling them activists who rudely interrupted our dear angel man, president of genocide, Abe Blinken. And it's just these fucking like slightly automated moving mannequin CNN anchors who are like, this isn't even journalism. They might as well have called them terrorists. Like Sam Husseini sounds like a terrorist to me.
Yeah, that's true. You're not beating the terrorist accusations with that name.
This humanitarian intervention by me and Sam Husseini was carried to a national audience on MSNBC and CNN because they were broadcasting Tony Blinken's press conference at the time. And Sam Husseini has been coming to these briefings again and again, and he asks he asks questions that no other reporter asks. And he doesn't only ask about Israel-Palestine, but they're all questions that the public deserves answers to. And Matt Miller has shut Sam down for months and months, refusing to call on him. And so the only way he can get a word in is by waiting for the pause between other reporters who are in the so-called bullpen, where they're like the full-time credentialed mainstream media reporters who always get called on, to see if Miller will respond to him. And what actually happened was Sam tried to get a question in, just a valid question, into Blinken, something that Helen Thomas might have asked back when she was occupying the bullpen space for the AP that Matt Lee now occupies. And he was shut down. And not only that, Matt Miller called the cops on Sam Husseini to physically remove him. And so this wound up on CNN. We can show multiple angles of this, but this is one that really dominated coverage because it was more visually impactful than my intervention.
Is the enlargement of those Abraham Accords.
And we have, I think, video of another angle of what happened there in the press room at the State Department. Let's watch.
About Israel's nuclear weapons, everybody from the ICJ, I was sitting here quietly, and now I'm being manhandled by 2 or 3 people. You pontificate about a free press. You pontificate about a free press. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. I am asking questions after being told by Matt Miller that he will not answer my questions until I'm asking questions. Wasn't the point of the May 31st statement to block the ICJ orders? You blocked the ICJ orders.
We still respect the process.
Respect the process. Respect the process. Well, everybody from Amnesty International. From Amnesty International to the ICJ saying that Israel's doing genocide and extermination, and you're telling me to respect the process. criminal. Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague?
Great question. And I mean, it's amazing to watch Sam, like the amount of physical stress that he's under there, having 3 gigantic Secret Service cops bundling him out the door, like suffocating him. And he's able to cite the ICJ and Amnesty International, and then summon the strength to ask, why are you not in the Hague? I meant to belt out Nuremberg 2.0 too, but then Matt Miller showed up in my face, and that was just a target of opportunity. But I thought that was pretty impressive by Sam. And if you actually watch the State Department briefing feed, you can hear him clearly because he was right up front. I was all the way in the back. And Sam is really a national treasure. I mean, he's been working in journalism and in fostering an anti-war and independent journalistic environment in Washington for decades. So I thought it was great to see Sam go out like that after being frozen out day after day by the Biden team, by the Biden Blinken team.
Well,
CNN, yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of my favorite clips of this day is the way CNN talked about you and Sam's intervention, basically taking offense at a Secretary of State being held accountable for presiding over genocide. And their reaction to you guys is very telling, both in terms of how they've whitewashed this genocide, but also in why I think they don't have any viewers anymore, because they see themselves as government hacks, taking offense on the government's behalf at being asked real questions about their complicity in mass murder.
Yeah, this really is a dissonant reaction by the corporate state media hacks at CNN. Just take a look. It says everything about our corporate media. I think this is one of the most emblematic segments of corporate media that you're going to see.
As you heard, he was repeatedly interrupted by some cringeworthy heckling by activists. I mean, we were both sitting here pretty stunned, frankly. This is supposed to be a press conference with a room of journalists. Those were activists who were interrupting the Secretary of State when he initially was thanking the press and talking about the Israeli-Hamas deal.
Yeah, I think it's really surprising. A lot of our viewers will have seen protests on Capitol Hill, for example, during confirmation hearings, but it's very rare for something like that to happen at the State Department. I'm over there all the time in that briefing room, and you need to have a reason.
Never seen him in the briefing room.
To be at the State Department, you need to have an appointment. You need to have press accreditation,
which we had
to come and go. So it's unclear who those people were. So I think there's a real security question there. Oh
yeah, we're terrorists. We're a security threat.
Me to be cheesy for a moment. This is a testament to American democracy and
yeah, you're cheesy.
The way that American administrations approach their press rooms. They give accreditation to a wide number of journalists and increasingly what I would call less mainstream journalists, more opinion journalists who have the opportunity to go to the State Department, to go to the White House and to ask questions of the representatives of that administration. So I'm always amazed by whenever I go to these different press rooms.
Max, pause for a second.
Who's actually sitting there.
He's bragging about American democracy while this on screen they're showing a journalist being dragged out of the room by 3 police officers. It's like, pick your moment to be cheesy.
Or just, I mean, what are we protesting?
Yeah.
Who? I mean, there's so much you could say. Why did Biden lose the election? Because people share our outrage at this policy. And no one could address it inside the room.
It's not just Americans. It's people from all over the world, from Turkey, from China, from South Korea, who get to ask questions of people like Matt Miller at the State Department or Karine Jean-Pierre at the White House.
Jean-Pierre.
And so there's a relatively open policy for now in these different press rooms.
As they're dragging a man from the press room. It's, the dissonance is so funny. He doesn't even acknowledge Sam as as a journalist or as a person worthy of respect. So it doesn't occur to him that he's like kissing the feet of the state while the state is dragging out a journalist, because to him that's just totally normal.
But I mean, what you saw there with CNN was one institution, the $800 million premier corporate state media mighty Wurlitzer of the U.S. military intelligence apparatus, manufacturing consent for a genocide after October 7th, spouting the lies out of the Israeli prime minister's office about 40 beheaded babies, about mass sexual assault by Hamas, savagery, etc., featuring only the arch Zionists in their newsroom, Wolf Blitzer, former AIPAC researcher, Jake Tapper, Dana Bash. And then at the end of the whole thing, when the ceasefire is right there, ready to be signed, they start running cover to prevent accountability for one of the key authors of that genocide. And that's what it's all about for CNN.
Yeah. So, as Tony Blinken says, after being interrupted 3 times in a row, giving a stupid speech, well, that happened.
Bum, 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 da, da, da. Yeah, that's the vibe. Very good.
There was, I don't even know why I'm mentioning this because I can't remember what it was, but something came up the other day that would have been so perfectly topped off with a curb stinger at the end of it, but I can't remember for the life of me what it was. So, yeah, use your imagination. Could have been anything.
Speaking of perfectly getting topped off, I'm that would be me. Very good. I'm taking
Best
the mantle. That
ever
was
do it.
one. That was a. Yeah, that was an old Ace Man bit. But now that he's fucking soy, now that he's a fucking soy, repubtard, I'm gonna take that one back. I'm gonna take the mantle of being the guy who claims to be the best at receiving oral. I'm the best at getting top. Yeah.
I guess I have to sort of give it to the Ace Man there. That's not
It's
a bad
a good joke, and that's why I'm repurposing it.
Yeah,
because fuck that. He doesn't deserve it anymore. I'm the one. Plus, I'm younger and I'm hungrier.
He wants it more, folks.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Maybe you can get it in the America Trump Olympics next year. Get the award for best top receiver.
Yeah.
Biden's farewell address / final days could truly be final days. Man's looking waxy and dry at the same time. He's a mummy, folks. I unfortunately do have the entire transcript of his speech here for reference. I guess just to start off, maybe the most egregious thing and like the biggest headline, if you just Bing search like Biden farewell speech, like every article is just like Biden warns of oligarchy taking over America, which is the most hilarious thing I can almost imagine in a way, or one of them. Like, I mean, what an absolute fucking joke this shit is. Like, known puppet of oligarchy, obviously, like no sense in even trying to pretend to maybe deny it is like,
right.
Does his speechwriter just think like, well, progressives hated Eisenhower, but they love citing that military industrial complex speech. Maybe we can
this was so good.
Get Biden into the good graces of history somehow by him going, rich people are scary, folks. Mm-hmm. No one would know better than me. I went into a secret fucking cabal room with them and told them nothing would fundamentally change. Remember that, folks? It's just like reminding us of like, oh yeah, and Biden is like a standard corrupt ass fucking politician. And here he is like waving his finger at like, you know, it's sort of implied like he's like taking shots at like Elon Musk and Trump, right? He's like, these people are too rich. Watch out, everybody, in case you didn't know. Old Uncle Joe will fill you in on what's really going on in America. What an absolute fucking joke! I'm actually so glad in a way that this is so good. How he went out. Like, it's gonna totally it's already backfired, right? I mean, like, but like when there's some like real sort of historical distance, like, I don't know. I feel like this and like the Netanyahu visit to Congress, shit like that. I mean, I don't know if if the water wars haven't ruined all education, this shit will be in textbooks. Hopefully, in the communist utopia, it will be at least. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts about Biden's dumbass speech?
Being like making it like the tech oligarchy industrial complex is so fucking good because it's just like you're supported by billionaires. So I don't care. Like I don't differentiate the billionaires that what they do is computer. You know what I mean? Like what the like. It doesn't make I'm not like sitting here and I'm just like seething at the idea that they're like, oh fuck, not the billionaires who fucking are ruining my life and the way that they made their money is with computer. Fuck them. But the billionaires who are ruining my life, but the way that they made their money was like fucking child labor or fucking or poisoning the planet with fossil fuels. They're fine.
This point here,
but the ones who did it with computer.
Sorry. Keep going.
No, go. Yeah. No, you're good.
No, just what you're saying is like fitting so perfectly into my mind as the fucking Drake meme. Like,
yeah,
billionaires.
Yeah,
billionaires do computer. Nah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why do I fucking care? Like, why like the fact that he took the time to like differentiate is fucking or like think that like it's. But again, it's not even real. They're just like, whoever wrote that speech is just grasping at straws to be like, we're gonna fucking, we're gonna make something out of this guy. Like, we're gonna save what face we can from literally the worst fucking president of all time. It is truly a gift and a curse. It's a curse in the sense that like, he was the president of the United States and it's been fucking miserable and it's been fucking terrible. And he's like, he might have tarnished the Democrat brand for decades now with how bad he was. And like, I'm not on Team Democrat, but again, they're like the harm reduction party, at least.
In theory.
Like, that's the curse. But, the gift is like, that this fucking old, nasty, fucking monstrous freak who strived for fucking greatness for literally like one of the longest political careers ever, because he's like, he started as one of the youngest senators and he's dying as one of the oldest presidents. He started as the youngest senator and he is dying as the oldest president. Think about that as how long of a political career that this motherfucking gargoyle had. And when he finally did strive and claw and make it to the top, he ended up being the worst president, hands down. Almost literally hands down the worst president. It's like really hard to compare any, like, I have my arguments about who's the most racist president, who, all that, but like worst, I mean, fuck, he's like one of the worst. And they're just grasping at straws to like leave some kind of legacy that's not 100% negative. But there's like nothing left. There's nothing left. And basically what they do is they're trying to ape. And it's great that it's Joe Biden. That's the best part about it, is that they're trying to ape the fucking military industrial, because it's Joe Biden who's had a career filled with plagiarism. And the last thing that they're doing to try to grasp at straws to be like, hey, let's fucking steal something from somebody else that was way more popular. That's it. That's the ticket.
I saw someone saying they wish that they just actually plagiarized the military-industrial complex speech, like the whole thing, word for word. He's like, it's 1952 or whatever. I can't remember when that was.
Good morning, America. Yeah.
He's just like referencing all this shit from fucking 80 years ago. That would have been good. That's like the only thing that could have like put it even a little bit more over the top than this bullshit. And then he basically just goes on to like brag about how things were actually pretty great, guys. You just don't appreciate how great things were this whole last 4 years.
Right.
At one point, he just throws out, "We invented the semiconductor." I was like, "Did we?"
Hell yeah.
But anyway, of course, just like flex on China with total lies about it. Like, we staved off our greatest competitor, China. Like, no, they are eating our fucking lunch, man. Don't fucking, you can't. I imagine the person writing this speech, like, if they had any remnants of a soul left while writing it, it is fucking long gone now. Like, imagine just like if you had a conscience and you were writing this shit. Like, I mean, I guess that goes for like probably every single speech ever written for a president, but like, I don't know, maybe this one's like kind of especially bad because it just like packs in so much shit into a sort of small space. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't need to fucking go point by point on this, but like, yeah, he like, I just this shit it just still drives me insane.
I agree
somehow that like, I mean, I'm just like, I'm scrolling through it, just kind of like picking out like word like keywords here. He's like, we need to get dark money out of politics. It's like, motherfucker, how do you think you won the presidency?
Also, what we really need to do is get Dark Brandon out of politics.
Happening
You know
any second now. Oh yeah. Oh damn. Next episode's gonna be an inaugural style episode.
Brandonless, the Brandonless America.
Yeah, this is it, man. Oh wow, this is the end of an era. Beginning of the vanguard of the Hinkle mega communism utopia will be rushed in here.
Can't wait.
Do you know that guy fucking Hinkle is like, he's just like good buddies with this like absolute fascist guy who's like gearing up to become president or prime minister. I don't even know which of where did Andrew Tate and his brother run off to do sex
Romania.
crimes? Yeah, Romania. Yeah, Stinkles live in there now and like interviewing this fascist guy while he's like, mega communism, and it's like, I'm friends with a fascist. It's just some wild contradictions going on with these motherfuckers.
We love it, folks.
Will this be the year of the Stinkle? Who knows? Probably not. He's got his little siloed off fan base, Romanian payday going on, whatever. Anyway, believe it or not, folks, Joe Biden is still shit, absolute shit. And he's just sealing his shitty legacy so perfectly with this farewell address. He also gave some other speech that was like specifically about foreign affairs, I guess. It was like his foreign relations speech or whatever. And for the second time now, at least that I know of, he's probably said it multiple times. The man does repeat himself a lot. In some other speech, maybe like, I don't know, half a year ago or something, he said, for the first time in a long time, America is not in any wars anywhere. As we're, proxy war with Russia, proxy war against Gaza, the whole of Palestine, Yemen. Like when he said it the first time, in real time at that very moment, I mean, I'm pretty sure I brought this up on the podcast when it happened, but we were bombing the shit out of Yemen. As he was like, America's no longer at foreign wars, Jack. It's like, you can like hear the airplanes in the distance behind him. All the way from Yemen, believe it or not.
Yeah, right.
But just, it's an insane lie to say. And like people just like sit there and nod with straight faces. And like, these are like the serious people. These are the adults in the room that with fucking ties and suits on and shit. And it's just like, I'm living in Looney Tunes land here, guys.
Right.
But he said it again at this other speech. And it's like, I mean, I don't need to spell it out, right? Like, we are in all kinds of fucking horrendous wars. We like occupy a third of Syria still for years now. A lot of the shit, I mean, anyway, obviously he said an incredibly stupid thing. I guess I could just probably move on from there with that. But but it's just like, I wonder to like what end are enough people being tricked by this? Are the speechwriters like lying to themselves? Like who does this work on? I mean, obviously it must work on some gullible lib idiots, but like,
sure.
I don't know. It just feels like even more nefarious than that to me sometimes. Like, it's like it's got to be some level of dabbing on us, folks. This whole like last couple of weeks has just been one big fucking dab session from Biden and co. America's in no foreign wars, Jack. Dab. Just Jesus Christ. In that farewell speech, Biden also, of course, like tried to like hype up how the economy's actually pretty great. Another classic, I hate to overuse the word, but whatever. Just what else do you call it besides gaslighting? When you just tell people suffering in a terrible economy, like, stop hitting yourself. You're imagining this, like, and that's what the last 4 years has been, in those terms at least. Like, things are actually great. Look at the numbers, GDP growth. It's like, That's not how you measure these things. You fucking liars. So TikTok has been banned. It's official, right?
Banned to the bone.
Did it just happen? Like
banned. Banned to the bone. Yeah. I mean, it's not official, but it is official. I think it's been voted on. It's supposed, but there is still the chance that like they could cancel it at the last minute. I don't know.
Oh, so it hasn't actually been like removed from app stores or something yet?
No, it's not. It has not. It's supposed to start like on like the 20th, basically. Like when
this is Trump's problem now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like it's supposed to start like I
remember that now because when they
but
brought this up like months and months ago, they were like, it'll go into effect the day before Trump comes into office or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's the same day as the fucking ceasefire.
It's
deal
Sunday
kicking in. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. So we're all excited for that.
Yes, you're right. I'm seeing here TikTok has announced that they will go dark on Sunday. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying I'm excited for it. Are you excited for it?
I mean, I don't use TikTok.
You're also in Korea, so it won't affect you.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. No, I mean, it's obvious. It's very obvious what's going on. I mean, this is just like power consolidation by the tech overlords that the brave sage truth seller Joe Biden told us all about that none of us understood until yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oligarchy, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just Zuckerberg and Musk,
mm-hmm.
swinging their dicks around, essentially.
Right.
I mean, I think it's mostly a false reason, given that anybody thinks that it's about like, because even people on the left buy into the idea of like, oh, they're just trying to silence, like pro-Palestinian voices, which are like bigger on TikTok or whatever. And it's like, I think TikTok also does a fair amount of censorship of that kind of stuff. And then also just lets the fucking IDF TikTokers fucking run wild with their insane perverted bullshit that they put up. But actually for that, I, applaud them because, we need receipts, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the various groups that are like, painstakingly documenting all that stuff, by the way. There's one I can think of by name, the Hind Rajab. Sorry if I'm misremembering her name. The poor little girl that has become kind of a symbol for the evils of this genocide. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Get very sad.
But also good for you. And maybe people continue to not know what that is.
Maybe.
Maybe good for you.
Macklemore, who turned out to be based apparently during all of this last 15 months, I think one of his very in-your-face "fuck Israel" songs was named after her as well.
Pushing everyone in the rough and dropping bombs. The blood is on your hands, Biden. We can see it all. And fuck no, I'm not voting for you in the fall. Undecided.
But anyway, so just shout out to those various organizations I've heard of that are gathering all of this fucking disgusting IDF shit that they're just like, they're just filming themselves doing crimes. And they actually were that foundation named after Hind. They were, I guess, kind of instrumental in this thing that happened kind of recently in Brazil, where this IDF guy was like, "Man, I'm all tuckered out from caving in kids' heads. I got to go to Brazil and chill, have a vacation." And the Brazilian government, I guess, attempted to arrest him because this foundation or whatever, they actually like brought like a legal case based on like all of the fucking TikToks or whatever of this guy. And I think where it's at right now is that he ended up fleeing to, drum roll please, can you imagine which South American country he ran to for safety? Argentina. And Kaplan.
No, not again.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. They like his kind there. He fits right.
Yeah. fleeing Nazi war criminals. It's a match made in heaven, really.
Oh, they're shaking hands.
They're doing the Predator like arm grip meme.
Yeah.
I want to say like you're sort of rubbing off on me. Pause. With me thinking in memes out loud this episode. That's twice now I've done it.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. We love it, folks.
That's for Predator, right? Yeah, the black and the white arm painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was I? TikTok. Right. So TikTok is out the door, at least in the United States. I mean, if people really want, they can like use a VPN and then use some kind of workaround. I forget what it's even called. I'm unfamiliar with how to do it, but there's a way to just get foreign apps that, you don't have to go through the typical channels,
right.
But, most people probably aren't going to go to those links. And what the trend of recently, as this ban is approaching, I find interesting is this sort of mass exodus. I don't know if it's exaggerated a bit, but it seems to be at least worth, being a news story of the week at the very least. People are like, okay, right. No TikTok, fuck you. I'm going to go to like a real Chinese app, and people are all flocking to
right.
Shit, what's the English name? RedNote? Yeah, RedNote.
RedNote, yeah.
Did you hear much about this? I don't think we I just downloaded it too, but I haven't really had time to look through it yet. But
I didn't even open it. I just downloaded it because they even like part of the movement is like just download it so that it like registers that an American like address downloaded it, so it shows that like we're going to. It's just part of like the numbers, basically. Like they don't register what you do with it, but the idea that you download it just to send the message that like, we're switching over. We're not just going to give up because you banned TikTok or whatever. We're going to go to like the worst one. We're going to go to the even worse, like, can steal my data thing.
Well, this topic has been, has been dominating the, my often referenced little place in the internet. Kind of the only place I really like do internet stuff on, almost in a way. Yeah. The old TA sub. People are going nutty for it, and I think some of it's a little bit like so we're sort of overexcited in a way, but mostly people are just having fun with it, and it does appear to be this very wholesome like cultural exchange going on between Americans and real honest to goodness Chinese people, and people are like people who are not based ass Marxist Leninist Maoist communists are also going to it, and they're like, oh wow, Chinese people don't just like work in coal mines 18 hours a day. They have like houses and they go to the beach and they're like people. They eat food. They eat some of the same food I like. Wow. And so on that level of it, it's cool. I'm all for that. That's great. But like, and I don't think anyone is really getting super carried away with like, this is it. This is how we unite the proletariat, worldwide. Because also the app is like a minor app in China, even like it's not like there is like the actual Chinese TikTok equivalent. This is not really it. This is I think this is just sort of like almost more sort of like Instagram, but maybe
I heard someone say it was more like Pinterest.
It's just you post like pictures and videos. I mean, I think that's all it is. So it's not pure. It doesn't have the same kind of like pure heroin level algorithm that TikTok supposedly has. But I don't know. I mean, let's add up the silver linings, even though this is not really related to the ceasefire at all. But I'm just gonna mix everything together.
Might as well.
Yeah, if people, and then some people are kind of like worried that like Americans are going to fuck this all up and just be assholes and then just get the whole country banned from this app because they do have like pretty strict, there's basically like a no politics rule from what I understand on this app. Maybe it's not, I don't know how like enforced any of these rules are, but it's like.
Well, I see people posting a lot of the Louis Mangione stuff. So
there's a lot of Luigi stuff, which I guess maybe they're not counting as politics.
That's not politics, yeah.
that's just more jacking off material. I don't know. I've been like looking at people's posts about it and like people describing their experience, and like people are like actually like making like kind of, you know, people started referring to like, could this be a throwback to like the wholesomeness of like pen pals and stuff like that?
Sure. Why the fuck not,
yeah.
right?
Again, I'm not going to like get a wildly like utopian about a fucking app, but I like the fact that one of the videos I saw was this like, I don't know, it was just like this kind of photogenic, cute blonde girl with like the Chinese flag on this like TV like monitor behind her, and she's just speaking in like pretty decent Mandarin about how, all right, you're gonna take TikTok away, well I'm gonna go straight to the source or whatever, and she's like in Mandarin the whole time, just like, and long live the People's Republic of China. signing off. We'd love to see it, folks. We'd love to see it.
We do.
And yeah, apparently like some Americans are just like, you know, they're sitting their white male asses down and getting educated on like Tiananmen Square, what really goes on in China, and so on and so forth, and dispelling some, you know, pretty insidious anti-Chinese propaganda that has like, you know, unconsciously infiltrated a lot of people's brains. So yeah, I don't know. This is RedNote. If you want to pay us to advertise, we're here. I guess I don't really have much more to say about RedNote, though. What else
seems
is on the docket
cool? Like
here?
I said, I have never opened it, so I don't know what's going on in there, but it seems cool.
I just glanced at it really quickly. I was almost sort of like slow to download it because I just was like, I was trying not to be like a total fucking bandwagon, just like blind
sure.
hopper onto the thing. But you know, it sounded like actually cool the way people were describing it, and I was like, I want to make some Chinese online friends. Why not?
Yeah.
When in my brief glance at it, I did see a bunch of things that were like Chinese people welcoming the American like refugees from TikTok,
Sure.
which was pretty. Again, the maybe word of the day here, wholesome. Word of the day on this podcast episode about the horrors of the ceasefire shenanigans is wholesome. So yeah, China, but at what cost? There was maybe let me see how long this is, if it's worth reading or not. Somebody in the it's kind of a long one. Maybe just find this in the notes too to check out for yourself. But in the Matt Chrisman enthusiasts subreddit Kush vlog, someone posted about some old like solo Kush vlog, you know, solo Matt talking to the camera for an hour thing about how do they describe it here? Matt lays out what he calls his most fantastic and indulgent sketch of how humanity may achieve salvation. He goes on to talk about the downwardly mobile American workers, first working through the struggles as tenants and laborers locally, but reaching across and grasping the Chinese working class and the working classes of the global south, and so on throughout the world, which stuck with me as a very beautiful vision. And they were bringing this all up in light of the whole RedNote cultural exchange thing. So I don't know. I found it kind of interesting, even if it is, as Matt apparently described it, as fantastical and an indulgent vision of how the future could be not horrible. You know, every now and then you got to treat yourself to a not horrible vision of the future.
Yeah. Have fun.
And this person's post is pretty good. They basically just sum up what Matt talked about, and but I don't think I need to read much further than what I just did. There's something else about China. China equals Nazis because army same size. LOL, as I wrote. This is just like a brief, almost kind of nothing, but I thought it was funny, and I saw it like maybe a couple of weeks ago. Something called Global Eye News on Twitter posted a picture of what I assume is Chinese soldiers standing in formation with the very scary caption written above it: China is building the largest military force since Nazi Germany in the 1930s.
Nice.
Oh boy. What are you trying to say here? Are you slyly trying to make me connect China and Nazi Germany together in my mind because they have large arms? And you know, here in America, we believe in a down home, ma and pa style.
Yeah.
Quiet, small-sized military force. We don't spend nearly $1 trillion a year funding the killing machine. No, that's the Chinaman's job, aka the Eastern Nazi. China. But what else are these fucking Eastern Nazis up to? Well, there was an interesting article in livescience.com. China plans to build enormous solar array in space, and it could collect more energy in a year than, quote, all the oil on Earth. You know, before I read this, I was like, there's always, like, you know, you got to read kind of skeptically about, you know, whatever. What's like a Christopher Hitchens style thing to say? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But either way, it sounds pretty fucking cool. I mean, at least they're even just thinking. I guess it is still theoretical, but this is something that is being, you know, attempted, planned. It's in the planning stages, right? What kind of ambitious project? The fucking probably what would end up being the world's slowest bullet train in California that will never be finished because mega chuds just hate the idea so much, and that too.
Sure. And the apocalypse will happen before it comes.
The tracks will burn up faster than we can lay them down. Yeah. But yeah, this plan is to have like a giant solar power station that is in space. And the advantage to having something like that in space is that it can collect like 10 times more energy, or maybe like 10 times more efficiently. Sorry, I'm no scientist. I'm no reader of words of this article that's right in front of me. No, I just don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, it sounds cool to stick with the pessimistic realism theme. Maybe this will never happen, but I don't know. If anybody's going to get anything cool done at this point in human history, I got to say I'm going to place my bets on China being the one to do it. So let's say fingers crossed and prayers up for the space-based solar power technology that could at least help us ride out the the no turning back ecological collapse that's coming, I think, no matter what. But maybe this will soften the blow. I don't know. I saw something the other day that was like, just this year alone, the average temp went up. The scary number that they've been warning about for years, the 1.5 degrees Celsius, just this year apparently it did that. So whoever posted that was like,
nice.
Does this mean we're fucked, guys? Like pretty much every answer was, oh, yeah, of course, yes.
Well, yes. I've been saying that the whole time.
It's just like kind of, I guess it really puts the nail in the coffin on that. If that is, you know, I didn't really read beyond that headline. So, you know, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, I guess, as always. But I was just about to say time to learn Mandarin, which reminded me that Duolingo had a increase this, like just in the last week or whatever, of all of this, this mass exodus to RedNote, had an increase of 216% spike in U.S. users learning Chinese during the the TikTok ban. So
well, hopefully it works. You know.
Yeah, get to learning some Chinese, everybody. That's just a practical piece of advice for you right there. It's not even ideological. Them's the breaks. These are the facts. I think that's all I have for
that's all the news that's fit to print.
Inscrutable Chinese news.
Yeah.
I do have a bunch of these quick hits, but I think maybe we could just wind it down. Truly quick hits. Let's go from like the most wide-reaching, dooming type topic, climate disaster, to what's this bitch Nancy Mace getting up to in Congress, y'all? You sent this shit to me.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
I mean, there's not much to it, but
yep.
So, I mean, what happened? Did someone call her Chile? You know, it's I didn't tell you this, but when you sent this to me before I played the video, I like because it was spelled like the country Chile.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have the context at all. So I was like, in my mind, someone just said like the country name Chile, and she took it as like, what did you call me? Which is like even funnier than what really happened in my confused mind, at least. No, it was child. Yeah. I'll probably insert that video clip too. but I don't think we need to rehear it together again.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to
I am
tell
no
me
child.
whether or
Do
not
call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not
Okay.
in order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yeah, Nancy Mace. I don't think we've ever talked about her on the show. So
We have.
We have? Okay.
Yeah.
She feels like kind of a new one to me, like personally, like a new figure, a new disgusting cultural figure of America.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess okay. So for people like me, her main thing is what, being anti-trans. That's what I've gathered from the little I know of her.
Right.
Like I saw a picture of her posing in front of the women's bathroom, and I think in the Capitol building or whatever, and she was just like, "Hey, real women here," like flexing with this fucking bathroom sign. Awful person. And then what was the other thing? She was whatever, like some video surfaced of her like making out with another woman in a bar, yeah. And it was like, and it wasn't hot, folks. It was like gross style. From I didn't see it, but I just heard it described to me.
She was doing it all wrong.
They were like spitting liquor in each other's mouths, like a chain of gross people at a bar, just being like obnoxious and loud and just face fucking each other with tequila or whatever. So anyway, she was like, she got into some fucking scrap with someone else who, I don't even have this thing pulled up, whatever. Do you know anything about the lady who pissed her off? I don't know anything.
Not really, no. I know that like she's gotten into little spats like this already before.
Right,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Jasmine Crockett.
I forget, there was like a clip that went like semi-viral of something similar happening.
Speaking of Jerry Springer doc that I just watched, this is very Springer coded now that I think about it. It's only missing her tapping her weave first before she goes in on Nancy Mace.
Right.
Yeah, she basically referred to Nancy Mace as child, and this really upset.
Which, to be fair, like, she was not even actually referring to Nancy Mace. She was just, like, not really. If, like, you listen to what, like, in the context, it wasn't, like, she was calling her that. She was saying it, like...
Speaking to, like, the royal child.
Yeah, like, yeah, the in the moment, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So, yeah, it's very silly. And it was Nancy Mace just taking an excuse to be extra, to drum up interest, which she did. People were passing it around, you know, because she goes from that to then being like, you want to take this outside? She literally challenged her to a fight, which is fucking awesome. Like, okay, cool. You are a crazy bitch.
I am no child. Do not call me a child. I am a grown woman.
But I will fight you. Let's go outside and fist fight over this. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is truly like, man, we're hitting some fucking depths just in general. But let's just, let's say our esteemed members of the congressional branch of the federal government. They're just a bunch of fucking YouTubers. This is just YouTubers shit. This is like, they might as well start making like takedown videos and like the downfall of Nancy Mace. Like, you know what? This shit probably already exists and I just don't even know about it. I'm like theorizing about it like it's some wild dystopian prediction, but it just probably happens already.
It happens all the time, yeah.
Just a bunch of fucking Mr. Beasts. Except...
Yeah,
dumber and more dangerous, shittier for the world, possibly. So yeah, Nancy Mace went off. A weird way to wind down. This is all on me, of course, but Hunter Biden's paintings got burned up in the wildfires. Boo-hoo.
Oh no.
Millions of dollars worth, supposedly, according to like his like very crooked seeming lawyer or whatever who was holding on to these paintings, I guess.
Right.
Shrekton LeVay goes to Mar-a-Lago. I said kind of jokingly, he's just going to like convert. He's just going to switch over to being a Republican, but I don't think he will because he probably functions better as, you know, a Kirsten Sinema, Joe Manchin-esque figure within the Democratic Party. He's more useful that way to both the Dems and the pubs, as I now call them. Yeah. We need to hit up some of this other shit later. Brian Don't Die Johnson has discontinued a longevity drug because he thinks it may have shortened his life, which is hilarious.
Man.
Also, speaking of Netflix stocks, there's one on him. I haven't watched it. I think I might eventually. I don't know. But I feel like I know all I need to ever know about that fucking guy anyway. So.
Yeah. That poor fucking guy. I mean, you know, I don't need to defend him. He's a billionaire and all this, but I do, in some weird ways, I feel bad for him because I just feel like he's maligned in a way that's unfair. Like, he deserves derision, but he gets the wrong derision. The problem is not, like, all of the stuff he's doing, because that's actually kind of cool, and it's nice that, like, he publishes the data and puts things out there for, like, normal people. Problem with him is that he is a billionaire and an absolute freak. Like, that's the issue with him. But, like, all the shit that he does, but people like to ridicule that. Like, can you believe he does all this stuff? It's fucking crazy. It's like, I don't know, man.
I mean,
he's at least like doing it semi-scientifically.
It is crazy in the sense that it's very unusual.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
But I got what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
people
still fuck him.
are on it for the wrong reasons, definitely.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll go out on. We got him, folks. We got his ass. President Yoon arrested.
Finally.
Ba-bam. Prison door slamming sound effect. Insert.
Locked him up.
Law and Order sound effect. I'm not going to get into it, but if you look up how they made that classic Law and Order sound effect, it's kind of interesting in terms of sound design. It's like a whole bunch of weird things you wouldn't expect layered on top of each other to get that classic.
That makes sense.
Dun dun sound.
So we had a fairly extensive library of stuff. So we started looking around. And I said, hey, give me a sound of a jail door slamming. Okay, we find that. Clang, this big iron kind of sound, clang, clang. I said, all right, now give me a sound of a guy hitting an anvil with a hammer. So we get that. Okay, great. I said, all right, I need some more stuff. So we went into the studio and we made some drum noises I had a drum set in the studio, so we took different things and started banging on them. We took about 3 or 4 of those sounds and combined them, and we still just didn't have enough heft to it, not enough bottom to it. So we looked around and we found a sample of 100 men in Japan on a wood floor stomping, just everybody stomping on a wood floor in Japan. And I went, oh, that's neat. That's different. So we put all those together, and I sent it over.
So, yeah, they got him. They got him. All right. General recommendations.
Perfect.
Do you want to go first? You said you had something.
Sure. Yeah. My general recommendation, as I said, was going to be David Lynch related, is Dumbland.
Oh, yeah.
Animated short series
that takes me
by
back.
David Lynch. I absolutely fucking loved it. It's so good. It's, 8 episodes. It's relatively quick. It's crass. It's fucking crude. It's fucking violent, aggressive, everything. It's shitty, but it's like perfect because it really like encapsulates the American experience in a way that's just like, there's no fucking frills. And it speaks to like the David Lynch ethos, which is just like, yeah, like fucking white America sucks shit. And we're fucking bad, and everything is fucking creepy and weird, and it rocks. It absolutely rocks. Lynch, like, is credited as, like, the creator. He does all of the voices, everything. It's like, it's just a short series. It's super cool. It looks like shit, but it's definitely worth watching. I think it's really good. So, yeah, that's my general recommendation.
That is a nice deep pull there. I totally forgot about Dumbland, but I did watch it back in the day, like I think as it was like coming out. I remember a friend of mine was like kind of obsessed with it, and like it was like kind of a classic like smoke some weed and watch Dumbland kind of thing.
Yeah.
That same friend of mine, I remember one time we watched, it was some sort of like special feature on a DVD or something, and it was like David Lynch like I think trying to like build a lamp for like an hour and a half. It's just the most mundane thing, But it's like, hey, it's David Lynch, so throw it on. Something to watch while we do the drugs. In keeping, I mean, I'll just kind of repeat what I already said earlier, but the David Foster Wallace essay, do not read the edited one that was published originally in like whatever it was, some Hollywood magazine. You got to read the full length one that's in his collection of essays, A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again. It's David Lynch Keeps His Head. I think you might be able to find a free PDF copy of it. I'll try to find that and link it in the general recommendation spot of the episode description. But it's a fantastic essay. It's written like he got to go like sit on the set of Lost Highway in LA and like observe Lynch doing his thing. And I mean, some of it is about that, but most of it is just kind of like a broad analysis of David Lynch done in a very smart and interesting way. It's a very, very good essay. Probably one of my favorite things I've read about Lynch, and I've read a fair amount. What else was I going to recommend? I had something. Oh, well, I already said this. Make our sick leaders' lives as miserable as possible. Do not let these fuckers slip away into cushy jobs or retirements. SWAT Dick Cheney, for example. Cover Joe Biden's house with silly string, perhaps. Boo Blinken off of every stage, be it Hoochie Coochie musical or otherwise. Not a moment's rest for these fuckers. And finally, this is not a recommendation. This is a shout out to 3 nice people on the internet who said and did something nice with regards to this podcast. So a little compliment goes a long way. Hint, hint. Say some nice shit to me now and then. It keeps me going. Yeah, I was surprised that someone subscribed to our Patreon, which I haven't mentioned in probably like the whole time you and I have been doing the podcast, at least.
Yeah.
But we do have one. It is there. If you go to the $10 level, you can even bail on it after 3 months, and you still get the Mayor Pete Tries to Solve the Trolley Problem coffee cup that says Heat Death of the Universe on it. I kind of want one of those. I might just fucking pay for one.
No. I mean, if you subscribe at the $10 level, seeing as we don't really give any bonus or anything like this, if you subscribe on the $10 level, I will email you my tips on how to receive oral properly. That is a Heat Death of the Universe guarantee. So,
nice.
Go for it, folks.
And, yeah, so someone who goes by the name T-Pain, T-E-A Pain, good name, good screen name.
I like it.
Joined up with the Patreon, much appreciated. And I got 2 random kind of compliments thrown at me from shout out Reddit user Sonic Thunder _35. Hey, random spot, but just started listening to the pod, and I must say it's a banger. It's on my rotation now. Awesome stuff. Thank you. That made my day. I don't know why it feels pathetic for me to be grateful for shit, but it does. Anyway. And then someone named Fit-Dare7525. I believe this was on the Left Podcasts subreddit, a place that I find often to be slightly hostile towards me for some reason. But I'm also an oversensitive baby. They chimed in. They wanted to say they found the pod through that subreddit and said that they're patiently waiting for the return of the Eschaton review, which made me feel good because I was feeling shitty about myself in the moment. So thank you, Fit-Dare and Sonic Thunder and T-Pain. All right, I do have to get going and check out our episode description. Check out the show notes document if you want various links and whatnot, and join our Discord, which is also in the episode description. Come to the Discord, say hi. We're having fun over there. And Tim, you have another podcast about the wrestling world.
Oh yeah. Just go to violentpeople.co, violentpeople.co. I was just a guest on Violent People Radio over there. You can check that out. We go longer than we should. I talk about a bunch of wrestling. So yeah, go give that a listen.
All right, and as Bertolt Brecht always says, The human race tends to remember the abuses to which it has been subjected rather than the endearments. What's left of kisses? Wounds, however, leave scars. Good night, good luck, and good night, sweet prince, David Lynch. Bye-bye.
Everything is
first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?